We're live.
Okay. What's going on, Knick fans? It's Jack here. It's how I start every live stream. We got someone new joining us today. What's good, Anthony? How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's nice to be on the podcast first time.
Yes, sir. How about you, Zach? How you doing?
Good.
Good.
We back.
Good.
It's my third. You've been kind of being the star the last two times.
Yes, sir.
I'm back.
All right.
We're back as a trio today.
We got 3 concurrent viewers. All of us, are watching the stream individually. There's actually 0 viewers right now. But let's get into the
there we
Knicks
go.
talk.
Now
Let's get into the Knicks talk. Okay. So, let's start off. Let's talk a little bit about Dennis Smith Jr., okay? How do y'all think he played tonight? I'll get the stats up while y'all are talking.
you want to start, Anthony?
Yeah, I guess I'll start. Honestly, while watching the game, didn't expect much from him. It's a classic DSJ, right? Pulled out a 3, It's kind of shocking. Surprised all of us when he hit it first time, I think he went 8 and 4, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yep. Something like
It's pretty good. Average DSJ stats, So, you can't expect anything more from him. So,
Yeah. And he only played 16 minutes.
yeah.
Very impressive to see. He came in, hit the big threes that we needed, down 18, and I think he stirred that comeback.
Sir.
Then when the young guys came in, actually, I think they pulled him, and then all the young quickly came in. RJ came in as a backcourt, and it worked. So I feel like those threes kind of fueled him, being like, we got a shot in this game.
Yeah.
Especially that lineup that the Cavs put out.
We got Connor in the chat. What's good, Connor? How you doing?
What's up, Connor?
The Knicks did win, Connor. I know you're just as shocked as we are.
Yeah, but I think, you can't really expect the Cavs to do much about their lineup. I didn't think they were going to try that hard. Obviously, they didn't because they put a lot of rare and unknown players like we've seen on the court. I think his name was Dean Wade.
Yes,
Never heard of him before. Splashed a couple threes, So shocked us. They were up by 18, but, we came back.
Seems pretty arrogant, to be honest. They didn't make the bubble. Haven't played in 9 months like the Knicks. They're not even trying in a preseason game when this is their second to last one. No.
Yeah, and not to be
Hey,
biased,
good for us. We came back.
Yeah, not to be
And we got our
biased,
young
like,
guys.
Knicks aren't the best team, but, the Cavaliers, they aren't too far from us, so.
Not far from us. That's why they should be trying.
Exactly.
Why not? You're a young team. Besides, well, I guess Drummond's not young, and Kevin Love is obviously not young, but Kevin Love's hurt. I think is he hurt? I think he has an Achilles injury. But at least they should be trying with Drummond last minute, Garland last minute. I don't know. Garland's young. They should be playing him.
100%.
But
Speaking of Achilles, I think one of the announcers said that Frank Ntilikina has a sore Achilles.
yeah,
So, and the classic NBA media, they don't like to tell us the full story most of the time. It could be something that's too
I think
overthought.
my neighbor's car was just hit with a plow. How about this? Y'all take over for a little bit. I just want to go look. I won't be
Okay.
long. All right, I trust in you.
Okay.
yeah. Speaking about Frank, I think it's just a little injury. I doubt it'll be a big deal, but it opened minutes for guys like Quickly. That got 25 minutes. Quickly played 25 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And
played his
Spellman
role.
finally played his first couple minutes of preseason. So it opened
Yeah.
minutes for those guys. So I was kind of happy. Well, I'm not happy for Nick getting hurt or Frank getting hurt, but
Yeah.
it's just a bruise preseason. Doesn't matter.
But, Quickly did his thing, He played I think he played point guard for the last part of the game.
Yeah, RJ
9
and
and
Quickly.
7. He shot a deep 3 actually. I watched it live. Actually, we all watched it live.
Mhm.
He hit a pretty deep 3. I didn't think it was going in personally, but
That was in the first half.
Yeah, it was Quickly and he made it. Surprisingly. And he also had 7 assists, so passed pretty well. Did a pretty good job on the floor. I think he lobbed it. Didn't he lob it to
Opie.
Obi Toppin?
He got a lot of lobs
Towards
from
the
Opie.
end?
There was like 3 or 4. I feel like the young core in that situation was the reason why they came back in that game. If we put Randall out there, he's just going to ball hog. I think he's the number one priority.
Hey, I
Good
mean,
guys like quickly facilitating to Obi. That's how you gotta play.
even though Randall, I've watched past streams, your podcast before talking about how Randall likes to spin move. It's exactly what he did tonight and lost the ball. But
Turned it over.
he went 18-3-5. So I mean, you can't really ask more from him. He did his
Yeah, he played a good
his
game.
part.
I would like to contradict that. Randall, in my opinion, was awful. Okay, he needs to be gone. We need to trade him. This is the rant I said I was going to be on. I said during the game, I am going to rant so bad on this live stream today. He is so trash. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. He spins into 3 dudes and expects to get a foul. Then you drop the damn ball.
That was one time tonight.
One time? Okay.
Dude went 7 for 10 tonight.
There's like a 10-minute completion of his entire last season of him doing the same
Okay.
thing.
But we're talking about tonight. He had a good game tonight.
I don't even care.
I mean,
One time.
to me, he seems. This is a very bad comparison, but just the mentality. He gives me like Westbrook vibes. Like he wants to stat pad. He wants to get points. He wants to do all this for the team. And like most nights, we've seen Westbrook fail. Like he isn't doing the best, and he's just giving the team a hard time to even come back from a game. So, I mean, I just believe that Randall is just exactly that kind of player, just not as good or talented.
I agree. I think if you guys didn't talk about it while I was just gone for a little bit there, Mitchell Robinson, that's something that we really have to have a conversation about because it's kind of a mixed thing with Mitch because tonight his foul trouble was bad again, right? Kind of expected. He's just never good with that foul trouble stuff. But in particular, that 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes of the game, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they were bad fouls. And it's not even just that. He got into the third quarter. Third quarter just started. 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes of the third quarter. It's like when he suddenly has all this energy, he just goes and he fouls people. Although he was able to play out the game with 5 fouls throughout the pretty much entire fourth quarter. I'd say it still wasn't super impressive. I mean, sure, he came up with 13 and 10, but most of those were open lobs. And if they weren't open lobs, they were free throws. He was, like I said, I say this every stream, but whenever he's on the 3-point line, he doesn't shoot. I don't know if that's something Thibodeau told him not to do, but I know he was talking all this trash in the offseason about being a shooter and all this sort of stuff, but I'm not seeing any of it.
Yeah, speaking of shooting, I think Reggie Bullock did a little too much of that tonight,
Yeah.
We had very good passing, We were passing the ball, moving the ball very well. And then, our team spots Reggie in the corner, and he just front rims it every time.
Yeah.
When I was watching the game, I haven't seen him make one shot.
Yeah, we saw our shooters shoot pretty poorly. I feel like they both shot 1 for 6 from 3. But I feel like Quickly was throwing up a ton of deep shots, a lot of moving. So if he cleans that up, I think Quickly's going to hit him. But Reggie, you were open in the corner, you got hit him.
Also,
I think that's
speaking of shooting,
Quickly's that open in the corner, he's hitting him.
the Knicks went 8 for 34 tonight for shooting from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
That's just insane.
It's funny because when we took guys like Alfred and Bullock, which won't happen again, I hope, but when we took Bullock out of the game, when we took Randall out of the game, and we put in Kevin Knox, which I couldn't believe I'm saying this, but he carried us to the win tonight. He hit 3 consecutive 3-pointers pretty much, 9 straight points for us, brought us back, gave us the momentum, and pretty much won the game for us tonight.
Yeah.
I think
Like I was saying, going on that. Like I said in an early podcast, Kevin Knox, you're consistent, you're not consistent. He was pretty consistent tonight. He was hitting the shots.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get that Kevin Knox, we're good.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get that Kevin Knox.
It's the defense that's the real issue. And you can see here, just
You
like
see all
the
those
highlight
corners.
reel, we were down by 14 going into the fourth quarter. I mean, we had nothing.
Like that.
That defense.
All
They
those
outscored
corners.
us. They outscored us for the first 3 quarters.
And you realize, I watched the Piston games. That's something that happened in all the Piston games, too. It's just our defensive strategy. And we're talking about Tibbs being a defensive coach. But quite frankly, and I know he is, but we're not seeing it right now. At least not at its full potential. And I think that's the player's fault. I think Tibbs is probably putting out good plans. Because we've won some games. We're 2-1 in the preseason. Obviously, it's preseason, but we're 2-1 against. We're 1-1 against the Pistons, and we're 1-0 against the Cavs right now. and we came back from like a 17 or 18 point deficit. So obviously something he's doing is working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but speaking of our defense, I was going to point out one thing I saw about like the mistake DSJ made. I think that we were running a 3-2, and DSJ was in the paint with Mitchell Robinson and Kevin Knox and left Dean Wade wide open for a 3.
At the top of the key?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that happened today. That was kind of ridiculous. It's almost like he was tired because, Dennis Smith, he always comes into the seasons out of shape. This season, he was in a little bit of better shape, I'd say, in particular, which showed tonight because he just hit 2 or 3 3-pointers, which was fine. But he doesn't do that a lot. And I feel like he won't even get that opportunity. I mean, based on how quickly he played tonight, I don't even know if Frank and DSJ will get another opportunity to play. Because in the preseason here, I don't know when Austin Rivers comes back, but I know who comes back? Nerlens Noel will come back soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alec Burks will probably get minutes.
Alec Burks will get some minutes. When Austin comes back, I have a feeling either Frank or DSJ is gone. Not gone from the team trade-wise, but rotation-wise, I don't see a fit.
Yeah, I mean...
I'd love to see...
Yeah, I could still see quickly, be a starter, point guard, shooting guard. I think Elfrid Payton might keep his spot as point guard because he doesn't play too bad, but I say he's very inconsistent with, scoring, but he'll definitely get the ball around to his teammates.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see quickly at least starting point guard, shooting guard some games. Either if Elfrid Payton is not, not healthy and is not playing, or if they're just going to give quickly a chance to shine.
I mean, I'd say in particular that Emmanuel Quickley is a very good player, but him starting I think is a little much just based on the fact that we do have Elfrid, and we do have Austin Rivers who will eventually be playing for us. And that is if you even start Elfrid, because you have the situation where you could start maybe Austin at the point guard spot, RJ could play the shooting guard, because that's happened in the preseason before. They started him at shooting guard before. And then maybe if Kevin Knox is playing good, or at least better than Alec Burks, which I don't believe he will be.
What are you laughing at?
What, you think Alec Burks gonna be better than Kevin Knox? Oh, he's drinking his big Sprite can there.
All right, continue. My bad.
But yeah, you know what I was saying. I was saying if Alec Burks is starting at the 3, Austin's got to start, RJ has to start. There's no space for Quickley.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that just comes down to, is Frank going to prove himself, and is DSJ going to prove himself? And I think tonight, DSJ did a fine job at proving himself. But Frank obviously out injured. I said a few podcasts ago, I think last pregame, I said we can never trust Frank. He's always hurt. He was out for, I think, honestly, I could be wrong, but I felt like it was over a month last year with some sort of, what was it? What type of injury was it? I don't know. It was a lower body injury. He always gets those.
Yeah.
He was out early in the season. We missed him for a long time.
Yeah,
how do you come back from that?
I don't know what you can expect. I think he's out currently with a sore Achilles. So I mean, depending on how long he rests and
it was a groin injury.
How much he trains.
Oh, his groin.
And recovers, even if it's not that big of a deal. A sore Achilles can lead into a torn Achilles, but if treated well, you should be fine. But I don't know, depending on how he plays and what he does, you can never not expect anything.
Yeah.
Something may happen.
Yeah, I feel like this fact that Quickley is just I feel like he'll just prove himself to be an NBA player right now. You can't put Iggy in the game last year. But I feel like Quickley has established himself as a role. He should be a role in this rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So we just don't have guys. You gotta get rid of one. And I think Frank is the guy, is the outlier. I think he just has to go.
I think we've talked about this before when it comes to trades, and if it means trading Frank. I say Buddy Hield. I just keep saying it over and over again. I have no problem with doing that.
Buddy Hield is a perfect player for our team.
I know.
We'd add Randall and Ntilikina for that. I'm down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Brings in another guard, but maybe you add another guy in there.
I don't think
Alec Burks.
I don't think Randall's a good player for second half of games. He performs when he's actually not tired and when he has a lot of energy. But then knowing him, he likes to ball hog. So when he's tired, he likes to spin, move, and fall over like we've seen in the second half.
Yeah.
So it's like there's nothing you can really expect. Like, depending on how he plays this season, we might have to like cut his minutes and add more minutes to players who actually put in like work for the team and help the team out with floor spacing and shooting and all that. Because even though he's a good player, I don't think we can expect a lot from him other than 15 points minimum and maybe like 2 and 3. So I mean, that's just my view on Julius Randle. But I don't know.
Now, I'm doing a trade simulation at the moment, NBA trade machine, and I feel like there's trade exceptions and people can go deeper into the luxury tax, but a Julius Randle Frank Ntilikina trade for Buddy Hield would not work. If you throw in a guy, I think that's Jalen Ramsey. I'm not sure what his name is. I just thought I saw it quickly. But I don't know if a trade for Buddy would work unless we even threw in picks. If you wanted to get into that. Because we do have guys like, or not guys, we have picks like Dallas picks.
Mm-hmm.
I think those 2 picks are really valuable for a trade for someone like Buddy Hield because they're not going to be lottery picks, but they're not going to be probably 30. They're probably going to be low 20s, late teens. So we can throw in a pick. Julius Randle, Frank Ntilikina, I think that would entice them enough to trade away Buddy Hield if the relationship is that severed. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a very unrealistic trade to even happen.
Yeah.
Or if he even, I'm speaking of someone else, by the way. I'm just gonna bring up someone else.
Okay.
Speaking of like trades and all this.
Yeah.
Seth Curry,
Yeah.
very inconsistent. Knowing that he's on good teams, right? He was on Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do that well.
No, I'd
So
say he did
I'm
pretty
pretty
well.
He
Decent.
did pretty well for
He
us.
did decent, right? And he
like
was with
one of the top
Luka
defensive-
and Porzingis, right? 2 very good players, 2 very good stars that like to score a lot. So knowing that he could play well with being surrounded by players like that, I feel like if we even decided to put him in like our agenda, I feel like he'd probably be a good fit for our team with like shooting wise. He could be a good like either backup point guard or maybe a starting shooting guard. I mean, that's just a reach, but I feel like that could be a good piece for our team.
It would be a good piece for our team, but why would the 76ers do that?
They wouldn't.
No clue.
It just makes no sense.
He's been from team to team
Unless they
a
blow it
decent
up.
amount.
They wouldn't, though.
But like, they're gonna make a playoff push, and they need shooters, and they got him because they need shooters.
Yeah,
We need shooters,
they
but
messed
we're
up.
not contending for anything.
And the difference between the Kings and the Sixers is that Buddy Hield is disgruntled in Sacramento, and the Kings aren't going to make a playoff push with him anytime soon. So
Exactly.
It makes more sense.
conversation, right? And it's probably a more valuable asset at the end of the day. He's locked up for more time. I don't know if he's younger, honestly. I know he's pretty old.
He's like 27, I think.
Yeah, he's getting up there. So he's pretty much at his peak at the moment. But you really don't ask for much when you're asking for Buddy Hield. You're asking for just shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, we just have to find a good asset that knows how to shoot, can put the ball in the basket when he gets past you, and just score points for our team in order to win games.
Yeah, that's why I think Quickly is so valuable. If he's off the ball, I think he's deadly. That's what he was in college.
Yeah.
Currently, we had him on the ball tonight, and he didn't shoot that
He
well.
played
But he
decent.
had 7 assists.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Do you want him to facilitate, or do you want him to shoot? Because we need shooting.
After seeing Peyton tonight, I think shooting is more valuable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he didn't shoot well because he had the ball.
And speaking of shooting, Miles Powell, he's a decent shooter, and he was a pretty good shooter in college. Just didn't know how to pass well. So, I mean, if we probably get him some minutes, maybe if he plays in, like, the G League, maybe if he moves up, gets, like, more developed, play a couple games in the NBA and see how he does. We could just choose between those two and Peyton, like, because Miles Powell's a good shooter, just not as good as a passer as he is a shooter. And Manuel quickly had 7 assists tonight, so, I mean, depending on whether or not we put them both in the NBA together, like, it could be a deadly duo, but you never know.
No, I agree with you on certain counts of that. I think he was a very good shooter in college. Maybe not as consistent as he should have been, but his defense and passing, like you said, they're not NBA ready yet. And I know Tibbs being a defensive coach and us having Quickly is clearly the more developed prospect, right? And if we're going to give minutes to anybody coming off the bench, especially a young guy, Quickly is that guy. It's not Miles Powell. Unfortunately, as much as maybe we want him to fit into the rotation, he just doesn't fit. He's a good player. He reminds me of an Alonzo Trier, which really sucks because he just doesn't fit in with the team. But I think if we're going to see him at all ever, it's going to be late next game in the second half. Because I honestly, them benching Julius Randle in the fourth kind of solidified to me that we're not really trying to win anymore in the preseason and that we're more trying to just develop the young guys. Because in a perfect world, we'd have the best players out there. But we didn't. We had Emmanuel Quickly out there at point guard, and he's not a bad player. He's just so young. He shot 3 for 10 in any other situation. The dude's on the bench. So
Yeah, I don't see Miles Powell playing. When do they play their last preseason game?
probably Friday.
Friday? Yeah, I don't see him playing. I think they're going to keep this rotation, hopefully continue to play the young guys because there's no reason not to. And I see Miles Powell in the G League. Are they playing G League this year? Because I know baseball didn't play minors.
Yeah.
So they're still playing this year. Okay. So we'll see him there.
Oh, we got 8 viewers currently. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, but I mean, seeing it tonight, how Julius wasn't in the fourth quarter, I feel like that helped the Knicks a lot, honestly. Like, even if it wasn't the best decision, we still pulled out with the win. We scored 34 points in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, knowing that Julius Randle wasn't in for the majority of it, if not at all, I feel like that's just a good decision for the Knicks. I feel like he's a good first half player, puts in his all, scores 18 points as he did tonight, and then he won't put as much as he would have in the first half. So I feel like that was just a good fit. Maybe the Knicks can think about doing that. Have him as a first half player, and work the young guys out, get them more developed.
Is that the TV? Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay. So we got a question coming in from Joseph. So why do you think that Obi Toppin didn't do very good this game? I'd say he did pretty good this game. The stats maybe don't show it, but he played off the ball a lot, and he kind of came in for the lobs when it mattered. So
played 31 minutes, too.
Yeah. I mean, you can't ask for much if a guy is not really the ball-dominant player. Like, in situations like this, if there's more time on the shot clock, and I know the highlight kind of just passed by, but you got Obi Toppin wide open on the block. No one's guarding him, and Kevin Knox shoots a fadeaway 3. Obviously, it was because of time, but I see those plays happen a lot with R.J. Barrett when Julius Randle's on the floor. Now, when I watch the Pistons game in particular, and this is why I said I don't like Julius Randle at all, Julius Randle's sitting probably around the the free throw line on the left side. R.J. Barrett is also on the left side in the corner, wide open, waving his hands for the ball. But Julius decides that he'd rather take on a double team instead. And that is simply how we lose out on open three-pointers. It's simply how we're not able to best other teams. And we can never take advantage of their defensive flaws because we don't have offensive skill. We just don't.
That right there just proves my point. Like I said before, I think Julius is more of a first-half player, maybe the first 3 quarters, if anything. And then I think he should just take his time on the bench and let other guys who know how to move the ball around actually play the fourth quarter, because he didn't play the fourth quarter as much as he would have usually. We scored 34 points and came back from an 18-point deficit. So I feel like not having him on the floor and not having him ball hog as much as he usually does, we actually got guys open for shots and, cut to the lane and all that stuff. So I feel like it worked out well for the Knicks.
Yeah.
That's a good analysis. He's not a clutch player because we really don't have a lot of positions that we're in where that's necessary, quite frankly. We're usually either getting blown out or he just can't come up clutch, and that just happens. But, Julius is not the ideal player for this team, just like Buddy Hield is not the ideal player for Sacramento. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I think I'm looking at the highlights and I'm kind of going based off what I'm seeing here. But Mitchell Robinson really does need to work on this foul trouble thing. Because it's 100%. Really easy mistake. It's really simple mistakes, but it's something that he just can't fix.
Yeah.
Am I frozen on the stream?
You are, but Anthony's not, so that's weird.
That's weird. Am I heard on the stream right now?
Yeah.
believe you.
Okay.
So,
Anyway, keep on talking. I will fix this for you, Zach.
yeah, but going back to what Joseph said about Obi Toppin not playing that well tonight, I feel like he didn't play as well because, Mitchell Robinson stayed in the game. Andre Drummond was in the game most of the time. Those two big guys clogging the paint. He isn't able to do what he usually did in college, where he was just driving to the basket, backing guys down.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I saw him in the corner most of the time, if not on the 3-point line open, and he just didn't take those opportunities. He just passed out and tried to find a way to the paint, which he did, but he probably could have got a couple of threes. Maybe
Are you talking about Obi?
yeah.
That's the worry about his game not translating to the NBA. So he's just got to find ways to. He's got to maybe find his 3-point shot, develop that more, or just find like crafty ways to get to the basket like he did tonight with the alley-oops.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a developing. This team is young. They just got to develop. So I'm not worried about him.
Yeah.
I think
I know what he showed particularly in the Pistons game, his first game, was something that it was very unique and I hadn't really seen it before. He was very, very good with the ball. The ball handling was surprisingly good for a guy of his size. He's 6'9", 225, I think. So I think there's plenty of potential there. Like you're saying, he's still a project, even though he's 22. There's plenty of guys that are in their 20s in the NBA that are still projects. Kuzma is still a project, and he's like 25. So there's just a lot going on with that sort of stuff. And he's still got plenty of room to grow. Shooting can get better. Obviously, he can bulk up with some muscle because that's a thing he needs to work on. Because you're not posting up college kids anymore, like Anthony mentioned. You're posting up big dudes. Oh, looks like we got a message here. Joseph donated something. Joseph donated $2.
$2.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. I'll look at your donation in a minute. I appreciate that. I just kind of messed it up here.
Yeah, but speaking of Obi, he looks like he has chicken legs. To be honest with you.
Yeah, he's got to hit the gym with that sort of stuff.
Yeah. But
yeah.
I think I could see. I paused the stream. Joseph said, since you think they will trade Julius Randle next season, why do you think that? Because he did pretty good this game. That's what he said on the donation.
Oh. Well, looking at the stats, he did good. But looking at the plays, he didn't do good. He's got to be a better teammate. He's got to pass the ball more. And if he doesn't do that, there's going to be a serious problem with him on this team because there's a lot of other guys that should have had more points tonight, and we could have probably converted on better shots if Julius had passed the ball. So that's why, in my opinion, he didn't play a good game. You only play a good game if you're a team player, quite frankly. And although did he have 3 assists or something like that? Like not a big amount.
He had
3 assists. It's not anything special, and he probably could have had upwards of 6 or 7 if he had just given up the ball in situations where guys were wide open. So I don't really understand why he couldn't do that.
Yeah, I think he just needs to work on that stuff.
Yeah. Another reason why we're probably going to trade him is because when you look at this team, it's all young. He's young, but we don't see him in our future.
No,
we drafted Opie. We're probably going to eventually start him when Randall's departures. We just have no reason for him at this point. He thinks he's the number one option. Eventually, RJ is going to be the number one option if he develops a shot and continues to finish. Then Opie.
Randall's that's something we got to talk about. RJ shooting.
RJ shooting.
Now, he's been very efficient from, obviously, driving to the basket, but we knew he could do that. The question was, can he shoot? And so far, although he made all of his free throws today, his free throw percentage has not been convincing, and his three-point percentage has not been convincing. He shot 1 for 4 tonight. It's not anything to go ride home about because it's really not that good at the end of the day. But I know he missed some open corner shots that, honestly, I'm surprised he didn't make.
Yeah, I mean, his shooting IQ, I think, needs to improve because I saw one shot where he did a step back and completely front rimmed, and I didn't think that was a necessary shot knowing that the shot clock was, above 14 seconds. So, I mean, you just got to work on that, and I think he'll be a good player, overall.
Yeah.
And Joseph asked he made a comment this time around. He said, By the way, the reason I'm asking is because he did score more points, and he did better than Obi Toppin, although he played less minutes. So, that is a good point, Joseph, if you're just looking at the stats, but it does go further than that.
Yeah. I feel like when Randall's on the court, I think the team pretty much uses him as the number one option to score. When Opie's on the court, they just put him in the corner just to facilitate around. So I think that has to do with the points. And Opie's points all came in the fourth quarter. Was it all 4 alley-oops at the end of the game?
I think so.
He might have had a layup at the beginning, but at least 3 of those points were those alley-oops.
Opie's first shot was a midi.
When was that? In first half?
It was like the first thing. I didn't get to see it because my TV was glitching out, but I did see the highlight of it. It was his first shot in the Garden, and he made it. It was just it was probably kind of like a right-hand side of the free throw line. He just splashed it. It was a good shot.
Mm-hmm. Also, fun fact, I was looking through Twitter. 14 years ago today, the Knicks and the Nuggets got into a fight, and Nate Robinson, J.R. Smith, and Carmelo Anthony were suspended 10, 15 games each. So, just wanted to point that out, fun fact.
Wow. Knicks rivalries, Knicks versus Nuggets.
I didn't even know they got into it.
That's not even a contest anymore. The Nuggets are a mile better than us, and we have no room to talk.
Exactly, but no.
I see, just kind of taking a time out from the Knicks version of the stream here. Connor is 100 points away from top 101s.
Nice, Connor. Nice job,
Going back on topic. If you guys are particularly interested in it, I'm okay with talking some Giants.
You want to talk some Giants, Anthony?
Yeah, I watched some of the highlights, although I still don't know anything.
So
I know the score 26-7.
Did we break down Sunday's game on stream?
We did not.
No, we broke it down privately, actually.
All right, let's break it down on stream. So we'll start with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is not healthy.
Horrible.
And he hurt his other leg. Came out today.
Horrible.
He did not aggravate I think it's his right hamstring that he hurt at first. So that's a big red flag that his left leg is hurt, lower leg injury on the left. Clearly his right hamstring isn't 100% because he couldn't get out of the pocket on Sunday. That's pretty much his whole game is getting out of the pocket, and he could not do that. That's why he got sacked like 5 times. Doesn't help when the O-line was terrible as well. So I think that was our main reason on offense why we scored literally 0 points in the first half. That was terrible. Our defense, I have no problem with it. I think our defense was great in the first half. It got exhausted because we just went 4 and out every single possession. And you can't blame them. Like, they're on the field pretty much 80% of the game. So I don't blame the defense at all for falling apart at the end. But you got anything on that, Anthony?
I'm looking through some things Daniel Jones actually said, and apparently he was, obviously his hamstring was uncomfortable, and like it wasn't like comfortable for him to play. But it also said that he had suffered a ankle sprain in the second quarter.
Yeah,
and
that's the left.
And that Colt McCoy maybe starting for the second time, for the Giants.
Yeah, if he can't get that, I doubt he'll play. Like his hamstring's already not good, and now he's got a left ankle injury, so he's got 2 bum legs at this point.
I don't know whose decision it was. I don't know if Daniel Jones tried to convince Joe Judge, or if Joe Judge was just like, "We need you, go." So I mean, if it was Joe Judge's decision to put Daniel Jones in, I think that was just bad management. But if it was Daniel Jones's decision and like try to convince Joe Judge to put him in because he thought it was like needed, I thought that's just ignorant and stupid. Because knowing that we're now, I think, second in the division, if not
I feel like our playoff hopes are slowly tarnishing. Yeah, especially when we don't have I don't think Colt McCoy's our guy.
Knowing that we're gonna lose,
he's not gonna win us a primetime game on Sunday. Let's be real. We're playing Cleveland. Cleveland's playing amazing.
Yeah, but their defense.
Baker's been playing amazing football.
Yeah, they're like 9-4.
9-4. They lost.
They lost to a field goal.
Yeah, but the Ravens, they were playing amazing that game.
Speaking
Lamar
of the
came
Ravens,
back.
Lamar Jackson pulled a Paul Pierce.
I heard.
Claims he
He
didn't.
claims he had cramps. He claimed he didn't pull Paul Pierce. He might have.
Yeah,
Probably
but,
did.
He became a meme.
I heard, him
On,
having to use the
Monday.
bathroom.
Yeah, he claims that he
Quote, unquote,
said in an interview, I did not pull Paul Pierce, but
He wouldn't have had to walk off the field if
Could
he
be.
had cramps.
Yeah, and there was like a video footage of him like doing that little waddle,
Yeah.
like you had to like hold in.
he claims he was getting an IV in the back because of his cramps.
Come on.
That's what he claims.
Maybe,
There's no
maybe
way.
not. But
It
There's
would
no
make
way you
sense.
get
I
there's
saw
no way
him
you get
play-
an IV within 2 minutes. It's just not possible. But yeah, like I was saying, Daniel Jones definitely not playing against the Browns. And
Yeah, very like.
Colt McCoy started when we played against the Seahawks. Seahawks don't have good running off defense. That's why we were able to abuse the fact that our run game was strong, and we won by like 5 points, I think it was. But
Yeah.
knowing that Cleveland has Myles Garrett, they have a decent passing offense, a very good D line. There's just no chance Colt McCoy can do anything, nor does our running backs have a chance against the D line at all. So that's just a definite loss. We're probably going to go back down. We're going to go down 5-8.
We're already 5-8. We're gonna be 5-9 after that game.
5-9. Okay. Well, I don't know what the Washington football team and who they're playing, but
So we're pretty much betting on the Washington football team to lose pretty much their last 3 games.
and actually speaking of our division, Cowboys and Eagles are not far off from us, nor are they far off from Washington.
They're not
So,
far off. I don't think the
Depending on if we
Cowboys really
lose
have a
and
legitimate
the
chance.
football team, Cowboys definitely not, but
That
the
team is terrible.
Eagles decent. They have a decent chance because
Now they got Jalen Hurns.
yeah, they have him back. He came back. So
No, he was
depending
never
on if
hurt.
he was never hurt.
Jalen Hurns is a rookie. So they had Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is having a terrible year. So they just threw in the rookie for fun. Beat the Saints.
Yeah.
Beat the Saints. Beat the 1 seed. So
Yeah.
who said that could be just a lack of not being prepared for a rookie quarterback, that they didn't know that was going to happen.
Mhm.
So it's really hard to scout college football to NFL football. It's completely different. So it could be a lack of that, but
But
I think maybe he'll stir them close. We'll see. But I think the Giants are in a very bad position for playoff hopes,
100%.
especially with no quarterback. And if I'm the Browns right now, I'm feeling great. I'm looking at Colt McCoy, looking at the Ren scouting report. They're going to run 70% of the time. They had a terrible O-line last game. Colt McCoy can't throw a football deep for his life. I'm very happy. He can't run, so just get pressure, and he's screwed in the pocket.
The only
It's not
chance,
Daniel Jones where he can move out of the pocket. He can't move. He's like 30 and slow. So
the only chance the Giants have is if the Washington football team loses their game and the Giants potentially win, which is very unlikely. But
yeah. Well, so here's the thing: we're playing the Browns, Ravens, and then Eagles. They're playing the Seahawks, Panthers,
and the Eagles.
and the Eagles.
Wait, we're playing the Cowboys.
I feel
I
like
meant- my bad, my
the only 2 wins
You're
there
right,
could be the
Cowboys.
Cowboys and the Eagles. Do you really think you're going to win versus the Ravens or who else?
So we're not beating the Browns
Yeah, no.
or the Ravens. We can beat the Cowboys. Cowboys are awful. Their
Well, yeah,
defense is
because their quarterback got hurt.
that's not their defense. Their defense is terrible.
But that'll make us.
Dolan's not bad. It's just their defense is so bad, and their O line's pretty banged up. So that team it's going to be last. It's all about if Jalen Hurns is good. If Jalen Hurns is not good, and if they find him out, then Washington's probably going to win, and then we lose. They win 7 games, we win 6.
And that's a really disappointing season at that point because you don't
Yeah.
make the playoffs and your pick isn't as good as it should have been.
It'll still be a top 10, going 6-10, but it won't be as good as a top 5. Where if we were going like 2-12, like we were supposed to go.
Especially
But-
after the Saquon injury.
Yeah,
I
mean,
brought
wait
it up
on
to you before.
though.
It's fully
Who knows?
hypothetical, but how is Saquon going to play after the injury? I know you said ACLs are easier to recover from these days, but if you rely purely on your athleticism in a way, it kind of hurts. It's going to slow him down. It's going to. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
It's just what happens.
We'll always see. I think it's all about his rehab.
Yep.
I think he had surgery like two or 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
So we're
that's
just
it.
gonna see how he does. Yeah, I don't know why they waited a long time for him to
Well,
get surgery.
maybe he'd rather just heal on his own and then realize that he needed surgery.
Oh, you need surgery when you tear your ACL. You need to repair it.
Oh yeah.
So
No, some
I
people
guess-
don't need surgery.
Sure.
Yeah.
Huh.
You know, Cole Anthony, I think, or actually Dennis Smith Jr. tore his ACL in high school. He recovered in
And
4 months. Didn't need surgery.
Interesting.
It's because he has, and I don't know how I know this, but he has apparently some sort of genetic where he has multiple tendons in his knee, so it was stronger.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
No.
going back to the football talk, there's no chance the Giants are going to make the playoffs if they don't win these games. So
Well,
if they pull an upset and beat the Browns or the Ravens and then definitely beat the Cowboys, they definitely have a chance. We just have to wait for the football team to lose to the Seahawks.
we gotta be.
Panthers.
We're not beating the Browns. It's just not happening. We gotta bet on the Washington football team losing out. That's our
I
only
mean,
chance.
you never know. The Browns almost lost to the Bengals.
Browns only. Yeah, but that was we're talking a hot Browns team. Like they're on fire right now. They're scoring 30 points a game. They're playing really good. They killed the Titans. Titans came back at the end, but they were killing them going into half. They just they just lost to the Ravens, but they were playing great. I think we're home at least, so that's a plus, but no fans, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But
Mhm.
Browns are just playing really good football. And if we got Colt McCoy taking snaps, scouting report's pretty easy. So we're just going to have to bet on defense again. And
Yeah.
if the defense walks up and makes it like a 5-point game like they did versus the Seahawks, maybe gives us hope, but we'll see. This last week, the Giants, what's good about the Giants this year is they make every single game close. But last week, that was terrible. Watching that game, you just knew you were going to lose. And that's just a different feeling I had this year.
I didn't have that feeling the whole game because a stat poll popped up while watching the game. It said that the Giants have not had any first half points at all this season.
Yeah, that's the thing. Our defense was they always lock them up, so that's why you have confidence.
Yeah,
Like it was 5-0 last game. That's why, okay, it's just a 1-possession game. We have a total chance in this game. But this week we were just getting killed going into half, and then we got Golden Tate made that great catch, got the touchdown, and then we just didn't do anything else. I think we only scored that one touchdown, and they just defense was still not caught up. It was just bad. And I think JoJo said we weren't prepared, which is a problem because you had all week to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little concerning. So I hope this team has a little fire from that loss and makes it a close game. I don't think we'll win, though. But I want to see a close game on Sunday night. Especially we got flex to primetime. That's respect. The Giants would be getting flexed to a primetime game this year, especially without Saquon. Like, we have nobody. Usually we had all those primetime games because of Odell, but we lost all of them. And without even Saquon, we got a primetime. But
yeah,
that's all I got to say about the Giants, really.
I feel like if
We're
Daniel
just
Jones
betting
was
on
healthy,
Washington.
and Saquon was healthy. Saquon never got injured. We'd definitely have a chance to make it to the playoffs 100%.
I wouldn't say that.
I would definitely say that 100%.
I think Wayne's filling in a good role. I guess we might have better explosive offense, like an explosive run, a more explosive run game. But Gallman's great. Like, he's really good. So I think we're not having like a Devontae Freeman who's not that good, who we had at first that now is on IR. I think Gallman's better than Freeman. So I don't know how much of a difference. Saquon's obviously a huge difference, but Gallman's playing great, so I don't know how much of a difference with Saquon. Maybe some explosive touchdowns, like I said. But
Yeah.
it's not like he's a quarterback that could just change the whole game.
Yeah. We need a quarterback bad.
Well, we need Daniel Jones healthy. That's all we need. Daniel Jones was playing amazing until he got hurt. If Daniel Jones is healthy, he was not healthy this game. Like, you could see plays where the pocket was collapsing in situations where he would draw to the left or right just to get out of the pocket. He didn't do that because he's not healthy. He can't run. So with a healthy Daniel Jones, we're fine. This is a playoff team with a healthy Daniel Jones. We probably would have won on Sunday. Not even lying. Probably would have won last week with a healthy Daniel Jones. Defense was great at first. So if it got breaks, we probably would have been fine. But we don't have a healthy Daniel Jones. Probably going to play Colt McCoy, and pretty much the season. Like I said, unless the football team chokes completely and loses every single game this season, which just won't happen. They don't have a quarterback. Alex Smith got hurt, so they have Dwayne Haskins, I think. And their rookie running back is hurt still, I think, with turf toe. So.
And they won against San Fran?
They won against San Fran. San Fran's not good, though. But their defense carried them to a victory.
Who do they have on that team?
San Fran?
Mm-hmm. San Francisco, is it?
So their quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo's hurt. George Kittle, their star tight end's hurt. So they're running a backup quarterback. I think they have Moser, but they barely use him, which is weird. They use him as like a receiving running back. I don't know if they're just trying to conserve his health because he's always hurt. But they have a great running back that they don't use all the time. Their defense, they have Nick Bosa, who tore his ACL when Saquon tore his ACL. He's their best defensive player. So their team is just overall really hurt, banged up.
Okay.
So they're pretty much playing a beat-up, injured 49ers team that should be good, but is not good because of injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought the 49ers would win still, but the Washington football team's defense is legit and pulled it out. So they had 3 touchdowns, Washington, last week. 2 of them were their defense.
Okay.
Their offense is terrible. They have no offense. It's just their defense is carrying them. Which is the same with us, but at least our offense is the one that scores. Like, our defense just locks down, but they don't score for us. They got to do it all.
Sorry, I would be talking more, but 1, I'm not very knowledgeable of football, and 2, I am so tired beyond belief.
But
I
think that's what we got on football.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Just kind of you want to give your predictions, or do you not want to do that again, considering last time?
That was bad last time.
He predicted last time that we'd beat the Cardinals. We'd beat who's coming up?
The Browns.
You beat the Browns. He thought we'd lose to the Ravens, right? And then you thought we'd beat the Cowboys, which is still a valid claim.
Yeah. So I'll change it, assuming this is the Daniel Jones we're going to have for the rest of the year, and maybe Colt McCoy. So going to lose next week. I'd say we'll go 30-15.
30 and 15.
Just like 15 to split.
Wait, what'd you say? Sorry. Say it again.
I'll say we're going to lose 30-15.
Okay, 30-15.
I don't think it'll be 30-15, just overall in that, like, 2 touchdown loss, that type of zone.
Okay.
Ravens.
So for all we know, it could be 14-0 for all we know. Is that kind of your...
Yeah, as long as it's, like, 2 touchdowns apart. That's my prediction.
Okay.
So, playing the Ravens, they don't have a quarterback unless... as long as Lamar plays the whole game with no problems, they don't have a quarterback if he gets out. Trace McSorley probably tore. I don't know. Did his injury report come in?
Wait, what? Did he get hurt?
Yeah, he got really hurt.
Ooh.
I don't know if his injury report came out, but on the field it looked like he tore his ACL.
No, not Trace McSorley.
It looked like it. Like his knees just went. He just slipped in his knee. Took all the weight. It was bad.
It's a shame.
RG3, dude's made out of glass, so he stepped on the field that Wednesday football game, got hurt immediately, so he's out for the year. So they only had Trace McSorley and Lamar Jackson on that field last game, and when Lamar got cramps, Trace came in, he got hurt. Lamar had to run from the locker room out because he was the only other guy that would play quarterback. Once they ran like a wildcat, which means a running back at a quarterback. So if Lamar plays the whole game, which he will, we're going to lose by 30. That's my prediction. We're just going to get killed. Because Ravens, they don't have a great defense, but our offense is so bad to the point where they'll be able to perform. And their offense is unstoppable by any defense. I don't think any defense can stop that.
How about I pose this to you? Purely hypothetical, very unrealistic, but in a scenario, in a world where you do beat the Ravens, do you see playoffs?
Of course. If we could beat the Ravens, yes.
Okay.
If we beat all 3, guaranteed playoffs.
You know what? I just said down by 30. Our defense is better than that. 20.
It's still terrible, though.
I'm calling.
It's terrible, but I gotta put a little more respect on the defense.
I'm saying dub, lost dub.
Dub
Winning
loss.
against the Browns. I say Baker's gonna have an off day.
It could happen.
The defense is going to clamp up,
It's not a bad
get
game.
picks,
Very
and we're
well.
going to win either by a field goal or a touchdown.
And that's only playoffs if the Washington football team plays bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got
Because they're already one game up above us.
If they win another game tomorrow or whenever they play, I'm sorry, not tomorrow. Well, do they play tomorrow? Thursday?
No.
It's Chargers Raiders, and
Okay, so weekend, whenever they play, if they win that weekend game versus whoever they're playing, is it pretty much dead for you guys, the hopes?
Yeah,
I'd say so.
100%.
Okay.
So, in a realistic, or not realistic, in Anthony's sense, if we win 2 of 3 to end the season, we'd make the playoffs, no matter what. Pretty much. Well, actually, no.
No, because they'd have to win.
Who are they
all
playing?
three.
They're playing the Panthers. They could beat
Yeah.
the Panthers
And the Eagles. So
and the
Oh,
Eagles.
y'all are done for.
so they have to lose Sunday's game.
They can beat both of them, but they can lose to both of them because it's all their defense.
Yeah,
So
they
it's
have-
always a toss-up. If we're going realistic, yeah, they're going to beat the Panthers. They're going to beat the Eagles, and it's over. That's all they need. They just need, that would make them go. How many win? They have 6, so
No,
they go
that's-
8-8. So it's
yeah,
over.
I guess it'll be over. They have
But
to
if they
lose to-
lose one of those 2 games, because I think they're going to lose to the Seahawks. If they beat the Seahawks, then we just give up. But assuming they're going to lose versus the Seahawks, and assuming they lose versus the Eagles or the Panthers, and then they win one of those games, and we somehow beat the Browns, and we somehow beat, or we're going to beat the Cowboys. That's not somehow. But if we somehow beat the Browns and the Cowboys, we tie, and we win it because we won both games versus Washington.
Yeah.
So that's what we're betting on. We're betting on winning 2 of 3 and them winning 1 of 3, or them going 0 of 3 and we going 1 of 3.
If we
Those
end
are
up
where
making it
I'd
into the
say.
playoffs, we're calling this a Giants miracle.
It would be a miracle.
Even if they
Higher
win
expectations.
tomorrow, or if they win Sunday's game, it's a miracle. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
It's going to be a good game regardless because it's a Giants game. They always play good football.
Yeah.
Even Colt McCoy will do something because Daniel Jones was inept because he was hurt. So a healthy Colt McCoy will still keep it close, hopefully. Even though I said down 14. I think eventually it would go to 14, but at first it'll be a close game.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
well,
Then on the flip,
I don't want to be a buzzkill here, but unless you guys have any more to talk about. Oh, we actually, my correction, we just got a question.
Yeah, I think so. Wait. Yeah.
Mayfield's is from Oklahoma, yeah? That's from Connor.
yeah, he
Played
played at
in
Oklahoma
college.
in college.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that
I think
question.
he's from Texas, his hometown. Yeah, actually, just a fun story. Dude was a walk-on to his team. He didn't get a scholarship at first. So he walked on to his team as a quarterback.
Trying
He walked on at Texas Tech, and then he walked on at Oklahoma. So back-to-back walk-on quarterback to the team. So very impressive to see him win a Heisman and then be the first overall pick in the NFL draft. Being a walk-on twice to a college football team.
And we're
That's
talking
kinda
about
crazy.
Baker or no?
Yeah, I'm talking about Baker.
A
Okay.
D1 school wins a Heisman. That's crazy. I mean, that just shows that anything's possible. So
Yeah, if you can walk on to a team twice in college and then somehow win a Heisman and then be the first overall pick, it's amazing.
mm-hmm.
All right. Well, like I
and
s-
take your team to the playoffs too.
Yeah.
I was just
Well, their
mentioning
defense is great.
that. Do you guys have anything else Giants to talk about, or do you want to go Knicks, or what's the situation with that?
I think we covered everything for Giants.
I think
Like,
Just
football.
a disclaimer: the Yankees don't sign DJ LeMahieu. It's great.
Oh, you're gonna lose your mind.
It's the number one priority. They've said it, but I'm gonna lose my mind. Yeah, I'm gonna be very upset.
It depends
'Cause
how much
he's
money
literally
someone
our
else
whole team.
offers him. I mean, not that they can't offer money, because they can. But if he wants to stay or not, that's his decision.
So I think he wants to stay. It's the fact that he wants 5 years, $100 million, and the Yankees are always cheap, so they gotta offer 4 years, $73 million.
Oh,
And
that's a
LeMahieu's
mistake.
like, whoa, I'm literally your best player, and you're offering me $25 million less than I want. I'm gonna go talk to other teams. So he's discussing with other teams. But the Yankees said that he's their number one priority, and when a dude's their number one priority, they get him. So I'm not too
like
worried.
that's a little bit of a cocky Yankees fan in you there, Zach. He's looking for 25 more million. Teams are going to give that to him, and money is
Just
money.
give him the extra year. That's all, Jack. All you got to do is just give him that extra year, and it's a done deal.
All right.
Think about it. If you're 4 years, 73 million, and then you just give him the extra year, what's the math right there? 73. I think it was 74 divided by 4. So that's 18 million a year.
Yeah,
he wants
he's your
20
best
million.
player, and he wants something. Well, then just give it to him.
Okay.
Don't be picky.
Yeah,
about
especially since
Oh, obviously you got to give it to
we
him.
gave Garrett Cole almost a $300 million bag.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're being cheap.
Yeah. Well, Garrett Cole we needed, and they knew that, and we were going to give Garrett Cole 8 years, and
What
Garrett
is it?
Cole was like, "Give me the 9th year," and they gave him the 9th year. So I think it'll just be the same case where we'll eventually just be like, "We need you. We'll give you the 5th year." He says, "Okay, done."
Well, what does
I think
it say?
that's all good.
I mean, right now, what does it say about the Yankees to him if they're giving Garrett Cole this money and they're giving him 9 years? Not that he's asking for it, not that DJ is asking for it, but and that they're just not prioritizing him as much as they did with Garrett. I mean, it kind of shows that he's not as important to the team.
Well, the thing is, he's 22. He's 32 years old.
Okay, well then that's understandable why you don't want to give him that much money, especially for his age. But if he's your best player and he's your only hope to kind of not necessarily making the playoffs, because I feel like y'all would make it without him.
Yeah.
But if you want to win a World Series, that's a different situation.
Well, we're trying to win a World Series in these next 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And those are going to be your last good years with LeMahieu because he's obviously going to regress when he's
So you're
probably
looking
like
for 4
34,
instead of 5.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you
understandable.
might have like 1 or 2 years of his regressed, which is still not going to be bad, but it's not going to be as good, obviously, if you're regressing.
Well, he clearly wants the security. It's a Gordon Hayward deal, where Gordon Hayward opted out of his, and not that I don't know if he had a player option or how that works in baseball, but Gordon Hayward opted out of his $35 million player option, and he took a 4-year deal in Charlotte because it's more security.
I'm kind of pissed.
Well, LeMahieu deserves that security. He's proved it.
I think Hayward fractured his finger.
He did.
I have him on fantasy.
Yes, I
Come
saw
on,
that.
boy. Like,
Wow. That's bad.
He'll be out for about a month.
My mentality was, since LaMelo's on the team, more passing is going to be done to shooters. Knowing that Hayward is a shooter, he'll give me more fantasy points. But guess what? His
Vernon
finger
Carey Jr.
fractured.
Vernon Carey Jr. is the man he'll be passing to now. That's your guy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but I chose Jaren Jackson Jr. unaware that he'd be out for a few months. Not even. Probably more like a month.
Yeah, like half month.
But it's still a good
Especially this
pick because he'll be fine. He'll be good. But,
Yeah.
anyway, I think this is kind of an appropriate time to wrap up the stream. We're coming up on this hour mark in about a minute.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That flew by really fast.
It does. That's how it goes when we do these. You got to come on more, Anthony. It was a good flow of conversation, especially about football, because I don't know anything about football, and you do. So
Even basketball,
yeah,
we just had a lot of things to talk about and continue.
it's shocking that the Knicks can really generate that much conversation, especially because they're awful.
Yeah,
that's
if
a
we were
fact. That's
if,
not an
if we
opinion.
were Lakers fans, it'd be.
Oh, and we talking about preseason like this?
It'd be a miracle for Laker fans, but right, we wouldn't have as much to talk about because the Lakers.
Yeah, we'd
are
be
kinda
like,
just
yeah,
there.
LeBron James averaging 20, 10, and 10. Like, come on now.
It's just what it is.
Yeah, but it's a lot easier to talk about bad people, bad players.
All right, critique them. Whereas LeBron James, they're like, okay, well, he played good again. Kyle Kuzma just dropped 23, so that was nice.
How many minutes?
Probably a lot of minutes. It's preseason.
That's my boy
He was
DeAndre
playing
Ayton. I got him on
last game.
fantasy. Let's go. 21 and 9.
Yeah, they
Let's
should do
see.
another steroid test.
Oh, 32.
Dude,
That's
I
impressive.
was so pissed last year when they did that, and he was gone for like weeks.
Yeah, I know. He's gone for over like 3 months.
32 minutes Kyle Kuzma had.
Yeah, DeAndre.
He
Ayton
shot
had
50%
25.
from the three.
Chris
Oh,
Paul,
AD and LeBron played.
Chris Paul played awful. That's not good. That's my fantasy pick. He shot 1 for 6 in 24 minutes. 4, 8, and 8. So it wouldn't have actually been a terrible fantasy night, but not what I was asking for either. Wait a minute. Is that 5 steals? Oh, that's 5 turnovers. Ooh.
DeAndre Ayton had 4
The
steals.
Chris?
Regression.
That's
All
not good.
Well, I'm gonna end the stream now. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, like the stream, put on notifications so you know when we stream next. I'm pretty sure the next stream will probably be a post game on Friday. We're probably gonna have to stop doing the pre games as much. It's just too much work.
Yeah.
Especially for school too. Like we got lucky. We got a snow day. We wouldn't have been able to do this late. Who's that?
LeBron and AD icing their knees.
Oh,
Hey, they
on
gotta
the.
do that.
My God.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all for watching. Have a good night.